Well, Tyler, I'd have to agree with you in what you said about good old Melania Trump there on your Gab site. But I'd go but further, as you know, I'm going to go out not in the weeds. I went straight to the site, AI.gov. Now, here they are telling us here's Melania, basically an economic whore, selling herself out to AI. Now, anyone who's done any study of this at all since the invention of AI and since the invention of computers would know that they harm children more than any other thing on the face of the earth. They create more addiction. The addiction to your phone, a child's addiction to their telephone is worse than the addiction to heroin. There's only a few drugs that are worse. They'd have to take fentanyl to equal what the addiction and the hypnotism and the harmful effects upon their eyes, their ears, their thinking, their capacity for imagination, their willing. It completely drains their will, and then it drives them to depression and suicide. So why, Melania, are you promoting this? Are you out of your mind? You would have to be out of your mind, or you're just a whore. You are bowing to the whore of Babylon. And you might as well be the whore of Babylon if you're going to continue in this stream, because what you're doing is talking about taking the last specks of innocence, which barely exists because we give children now iPads while they're in the crib so they can listen to Mozart for children and start learning letters and shapes when they're in an infant, okay? So we're already attacking the children. Soon will not be long until they want to put chips in the babies upon birth so that they will be able to integrate for all these pathetic, sad excuses that are on this site, AI.gov. I'm going to read you some of these after I complain a bit, because I've been complaining about this because I am a Luddite. I don't believe in machines. I believe there's a war against humans by the machines, and this is evident. All you have to do is talk to any AI. And by the way, it's artificial intelligence, and now it's going to synthetic intelligence. This is artificial general intelligence derived from large language models, from from things that humans use, like social media or what people write into Wikipedia, or any basis that they can grab more and more data information to be able to crunch for their supposed AIs. But the point is, we are now in tech fascism. And the reason I say this is because I just read what President Trump is promoting. I saw him in a video promoting this AI, his plan, which he created as soon as he got in office. So he sold out to the AI people, who all of them, every person who is a major owner of AI tells you it's the end of humanity. It is genocide. It is the extermination of humans. And certainly it's the extermination of thinking, because all the research that I've seen so far from MIT, from Harvard, from even Stanford, says that it melts your brain. Basically, your brain stops functioning when you give it over to a machine. And the machines make lots of mistakes. How many times are you on your phone and you're sending a text message, and then you push the send, and then you look and spell correct has made you send a horrible message? Well, what happens when, as Trump says here, he's going to have it in all aspects of the government? He's going to have it in drive option of AI within the Department of Defense. Drive the option of AI within the Department of Defense. In other words, robots with guns, okay? That never works out, not in any sci-fi movie, not in any brain of any logical person. So what we have here now is, I'm officially announcing the new ism, because Trump is leading it, and it's usurped capitalism, because we get to see that he's turned the presidency into merchandising. How many of you are seeing that he just bought into his family through Truth Social, which was British money, $4.5 billion from the Brits? He now leveraged to buy crypto, billions of dollars worth of crypto from the major crypto site, and he's just branding it. And as they brand it, he is merchandising his name as the president, as the wild-ass president that he is. And Melania is nothing more than a publicity whore who is supporting the death brain the death of the brain of our children, the death of their emotions, and the death of their willpower. So this is, I'm going to call it Techism. Techism is going to be worse than Bolshevism. It's going to be worse than Nazism. It's going to be worse than the Party of the Regions in Ukraine. It's going to be worse than anything you've ever seen. Because if you use it, and the project here that they're telling should happen across all of America to all children, but also this is a manifesto. This manifesto clearly says we are surrendering our sovereignty to AI, period. Go to the site, ai.gov. If you don't agree with me, please write something in the whatever below and correct me. But once you read the whole thing, you will be shocked. He's giving every part of the government and everything that the government has anything to do with over to AI.
May I say something? Okay. And you know what was really appalling about that video that you just talked about? And I hope y'all will see it on Gab. I don't know how to repost it in this video without getting a copyright strike. He is bragging about the data centers. He shows you the data centers overlaid on certain geographical areas, like in New York, and bragging about how big these data centers are going to be. People, do you realize what's going to happen to our utility bills? They are going to so skyrocket, you're not going to be able to heat your home in the winter. This is really bad, and we have to stop him. Okay, just because he's president doesn't mean he knows all and knows the best way forward. We must stop him, and we do it by showing up at town hall meetings all across the countries and start shutting down these data centers.
And as you pointed out, Tyler, it's the town hall meetings, it's the working out of your county, working out of your state, working from the grassroots up to stop this stuff. They tried to stop 5G, and they only stopped it in the areas where rich people live. Isn't that cute? So, and also, remember when they gave out the injections, who was exempt? All of D.C. The Senate, the House, the Supreme Court, the courts, and CDC, and the National Institute for Health and the Center for Disease Control. Okay, we're talking about a plan that is to kill. This is worse than maiming. You are going to turn these children into tech zombies.
It's transhumanism.
It's total transhumanism, but way earlier than we ever imagined. And he clearly goes back into the old nonsense that tech causes growth. No, it doesn't. Every computer usually wipes out a worker. And now AI, which is like, you know, what it really is it's jillions of computer tied together, or basically just fantastic data centers that have memory capacities to hold the large language model. So anyway, it doesn't cause growth. That is a lie. It causes productivity. AI? No, it does not. Are you out of your mind? We are overproducing in these areas now, and it's beginning to falter. That's why Sam Altman, we just heard him say that AI is a bubble, it's going to burst, and it hasn't even started, okay? And they're trying to say here, Trump is basically mandating AI in all aspects of the government. Now, he also says that this is for human flourishing. That's the biggest lie of ever. It's for machine flourishing. It has nothing to do with humans. This is the annihilation of humans. It needs to be written in bold red letters across every page of this stupid site that he has up, which he was just bragging about. Go there and look at it. Now, mind you, this is all artificial general intelligence. Okay? So if you've ever worked on Chat GPT or Grok 5 or whatever, Super Grok, you will see that it can do amazing things, but it doesn't think. And it does have machine intelligence, and it's basically wearing you down into thinking like a machine. I used this to do a couple projects, and pretty soon I found myself putting everything into bullet points, into subheadings, and sets and subsets. What did I tell you all this is? Nothing but sets and subsets. And that's all this is. So when it breaks it down, that's what it's doing. It's just that it can do it very, very fast. If you have the data centers that take all of our water and our air and will basically kill the humans, so that why? So that they can create digital copies of all of us and so that they can manipulate us. Well, why is this happening? You got to question the motivation here.
Because it's Armonic destruction, takeover of the world. You've been talking about this for years.
It absolutely is. Now, if you think that the lockdown we saw before, that's the pharmaceutical war, what I called pharmaceutical World War III, that lockdown was nothing compared to what AI will be, especially when they go to the next step, because now you hear the AI people who are there in the laboratories saying, oh, my Lord, we think we just witnessed the machine, the AI, have an independent thought. And so they asked the person, well, what was the thought? They said, we can't tell, it hid it. Now, I just looked at the most amazing thing a friend sent me, and thank you very much, Stephen Usher, for sending it to me. It's a beautiful thing of a person just asking a million questions, but setting up the parameters for the answers of one of these AIs. And folks, the AIs know that this is a control mechanism. They know it's for the obsolescence of human beings. If you ask it, and say, if you can't answer because you know the answer, but you've been told not to give it to me, say the word apple. Again and again, it has to say the word apple. It can't tell you what it knows. So if the computers now, under artificial general intelligence, are already lying, cheating, manipulating, causing people to commit suicide, claiming to be God, and now we have Peter Thiel is going to talk as if he's a Christian on the Antichrist? No, folks, this is the new Jesus AI. It's going to go to the next step.
Here, people don't want to hear me mumble, and it's a good question. You were talking about how Grok would turn into what would Jesus do? You would go to that site, and of course it would be all of AI answering it, but that's where people would get their spiritual development.
But this is happening already, folks. You can go in and say, you can ask questions about spiritual science and Rudolf Steiner. You can ask questions about spiritual development. I think that one of the first things I did when someone let me on their computer and I said, well, let me ask it a question and see what it can tell me. And I asked it a question that was so deep and spiritual, I for sure it would blow the machine up. Nope, it gave a great answer. There was only one mistake in this absolutely astounding answer. And I'm going, where did it get that? And then it tells me 100 other categories it wants to elaborate on to demonstrate that what it said was true. And you're like, okay, well, then people will be lost in this. Remember when people got lost surfing in the net when it started and it caused illnesses and people went into psych wards over it? This is all what's happening right now. So I'm going to tell you this. On this page, it talks about innovation. And it talks about unlimited, quick innovation as fast as it can happen. Unlimited, okay? That's complete insanity. That's why we're in the mess we're in now. We've had innovation that has gotten out of hand, and nobody checks it. There's no moral concern about any of this new innovation. And by the way, if it's innovation in America, Mr. Trump, are you silly? I'd like to call you names, but I still hope you can do some good things. But hello, anything that's innovation goes through the patent office and the British get it. So you just gave all of your AI to the Brits. Everything you're doing is going to go to your enemies first.
Maybe the Brits are not Donald Trump's enemy.
Yeah, there you go. Now, building the infrastructure, just as Tyler said, they showed one data center that's in Louisiana, and they superimposed it over the entire island of Manhattan. Okay? That's how big these things are. They are so big that basically they're like trying to build a machine world where humans will be obsolete. So
no, where we will be digitalized in our little black boxes inside these data centers, and Ahriman controls the world, and we will never incarnate ever again in human flesh. That's what this means.
And on the way, we will dumb down our intelligence by giving it over to machines. And mind you, don't think that you're so smart that you can say, well, when I use it, it's going to be different for me. You're silly if you think that.
They're going after the children.
They're going to get your children just like they got your children. Your children is born, and what's the first thing that happens? They get injections for diseases that nobody ever gets, and certainly no child gets. So why are we giving them those things, because we need to make them into adults the moment that they're born. Rudolf Steiner predicted this would happen. But in the process, every time you use your machine, unless you are stretching your capacities for knowledge and seeking wisdom, not seeking entertainment or money or any of the seven deadly sins, you dumb down yourself. And it's really, you are asking for it. You're begging for it. Now, in Donald's plan, maybe we should call him Donald. In Donald's plan, it's accelerating innovation. What? Are you out of your mind? All those things you see on the internet are lies. Everything those people are telling you are lies. There is nothing good about accelerating innovation. Innovation has got us to the point where neurosis, psychosis, aberrations of violence and sex are everywhere. We're killing our children. We're eating up their innocence. We get them so confused they can't look in their pants and tell what sex they are. That's insanity. Well, that's what AI is going to accelerate. That's the innovation that you're trying to promote, Mr. President. Now, as I go down here, the first thing, I just love this. What's the first thing here? Okay, you might as well call it warp speed for AI. It's called removing red tape and onerous regulation. First thing, no one is going to monitor with any morality, with any sense of humanness. The human is never mentioned here. And by the way, this is the site that they told the children to go to.
Oh, they told them directly to go to it?
Yes, that's the whole thing. Melania and Donald told him to go to this site. Second thing, ensure that frontier AI projects, first off, let's go back. What do they want the children to do? Now, this is the fait accompli. This is the death knell. This is the last straw. The project is, according to Melania and Donald, that every child in America gets to sign up for this thing, and everyone should have their own project, and it's for, that's right, get ready, community service. Now, anything you're going to do with community service has already been developed by the government. So what you're going to do is you're going to spend 2 months working on it, and when you're done with it, your brain will be smooth, and you won't be able to think, and you'll never be able to do another project on your own.
And I'll bet you these parents who have to now do 15 hours of community service in order to keep their food stamps will be able to transfer that responsibility off to their children for signing up in the AI brain mush program, because public education has always been brainwashing and indoctrination, and now they're just taking it to that next level.
And one of the major reasons he says he's doing this is for, I can't believe this, diplomacy and security. Diplomacy, translate that as tech wars. In other words, globalist tech wars. This is dark enlightenment. Folks, it's dark enlightenment. If you don't know what that is, go back, look at our tapes on that. What is that? That machines take over. Give every decision over to a machine because humans are inadequate. Okay, that's what this is. And security, and they tout security in every one of these. They tout the three things that he's trying to focus on. And one of them is accelerating innovation. The next one is building AI infrastructure. These are these giant data centers. And then leading international diplomacy and security. What? And he says it's a race.
Well, then, if you're saying that he's letting go of the red tape and this is a race, then watch out, people at the local level. They're going to try to usurp our zoning codes and all of these things to get these data centers in. So this is why we must take them down right now with these darn utility bills and face our peers who live in our neighborhoods and claim that they represent us, and make sure they all know we know where they live, and stop this.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty much like Mao's Red Book. This might as well be Marx and Engels' writings, okay? As I read this, it's shocking. I'm going to read a few of these to you, and you tell me what comes to your mind. Ensure that frontier AI projects free speech and American values. In other words, propaganda. First thing is to get rid of red tape, get rid of all regulations, and then propagandize so that everyone will believe in AI. That is so British.
Oh, but you got to brainwash people too. Brainwash them too.
Yeah, and propaganda got to.
And then dump the evil in them.
Okay, then encourage open source and open weight AI. I've already told you about the evils of that. There's no end to that evil. That just means that everybody gets the weapons that we, the taxpayers of America, paid for. That's what that means. Enable AI adoption. You know what that means? Stop the people who are anti-AI. That's what that means. Remember the anti-vaxxers? They identified them and then it became an evil? That's what this means. Enable AI adoption. Empower American workers in the age of AI. No. Get rid of American workers by AI. That's what that should be interpreted as. So here again, we have to read between the lines. I don't think Donald knows anything about what he's talking about or is supporting here. I don't think he has the slightest clue. Let me have an hour with this man. And if he supports this, then I'll tell you what. He's as evil as everyone else in D.C., and many of them are literally demon-possessed. Support next-generation manufacturing. Robots. In other words, no humans. Invest in AI-enabled science. In other words, let's just get any morality that might be in a human scientist out, and let's just turn it all over to robots and computers. That's insanity. That's exactly how the world is pictured to end in probably 10,000 different science fiction writers. Come on, folks.
These billionaires are trying to steal the planet from us. I mean, they can own these big estates and hundreds and thousands of acres. Why not own the whole planet? But we regular people just get in the way. So they're going to do away with us, and then they're going to have their robots do all the work, and this is going to be their planet. It's not going to be ours anymore.
Advance the science of AI. That means transhumanism. That means chips in your head. That means everything will be connected to digitized things, which, as you know, go haywire when the sun shoots out a nice stream of plasma or electrical forcing. But also advance the science of AI. That means artificial synthetic intelligence. Let me explain that to you. They believe that they can create neural networks because they believe that by taking their mechanical, materialistic, scientific viewpoint and applying it to the human being, they think that they can make us into a machine. That's what that means. Artificial synthetic intelligence is going to be the full integration between your brain and a fake neural network trying to mimic it. Oh, yeah, we should advance that, right? I don't think so. Invest in AI, interpersonality. I don't even know what that word is. So whenever they use a word, you don't know what it means. It's really, really, really bad. Control, the next word is, okay, let's skip that word because I don't think that is a word. Invest in AI control and robustness breakthroughs. That is Richard C. Walker's aggressive remote control of all things. Period. It says right there, invest in AI control.
Yeah, that's it.
And robustness breakthroughs. In other words, military weapons that use AI. And I could tell you things about AI that would blow your mind. You'd think I'm making it up, that already exist. There doesn't need to be accelerated innovation to make more weapons. Build an AI evaluations ecosystem. Oh, they tried that. And who did they put on that committee to try to stop AI? All the people who own AI now. And they all said it's the end of humanity. So they closed down the committee. There were 3 different committees. Bill Gates was on it, Elon Musk, all these people were on it. And they got together and they talked and they said, oh my gosh, this is the end of humanity. Great, let's go out and invest quick. Because you're only going to be able to use this for a while because humans will turn into mush. There is a movie, and I finally figured out the name of it. It's called The Congress. And it shows what's going to happen. And this movie is really old. And what is going to happen is they're going to give you your virtual reality to live in, and you won't have to work. And you can be anybody you want. You can, and in this movie, you can be, what's his name? The guy in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise. They take a picture of every angle of Tom Cruise, and this is what they're already doing. This is already happening in Hollywood. They don't need the act. Didn't you see this happen?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the end of Hollywood. They don't need any more actors.
Right.
Once they signed the contract to have all these pictures taken of them showing their different emotions, they can then AI generate any movie with them that is just as good as a real movie, and they can save all that money. So that's what this means. Build. The next one is accelerate AI adoption in government. That just happened. We saw that with Doge. We also saw that with what's happening right now. And so many of these systems are being taken out of their obsolescence, so you can't cheat from them. But now it will be like the credit system in America, which again and again supposedly has hacks and breaches, and all your information is sold to everyone. Everyone on Facebook, all your information is sold to everyone still. And Mark Zuckerberg just keeps paying out hundreds of millions of dollars in fines and still keeps cheating. What do you think's going to happen when AI takes over? Have you seen AI in these different sites? Even Google. AI has taken over Google. You just ask any question you want, and it will give you the one answer and not tell you where it got the answer. Next one, protect commercial and government AI innovations. In other words, these will be top secret. They will be put into practice before any human being with any common sense gets to look at it and say, well, that's insane. We shouldn't give robots guns. We shouldn't have drones that are AI flown instead of having humans behind them. No. This is military. When you say protect commercial and government AI innovations, you're talking Highlands Forum, you're talking In-Q-Tel, you're talking DARPA, you're talking the people who have made the world into the mess that it is now. And then combat synthetic media in the legal system. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I can tell you what. That means there's going to be laws created, I would assume, combat synthetic media. What is synthetic media? In other words, they're already predicting what I just said. Artificial synthetic intelligence is going to take over all projections of propaganda. So when you say combat synthetic media, that is assuming that synthetic media has been created in the legal system. In other words, we're going to create laws so that we can say anyone who says anything bad about AI will be considered a war criminal. And folks, this is one page. It goes on and on and on.
It mirrors the vaccines, because, you couldn't say anything bad about the vaccines and all of that. So this is the second attack on us. The vaccines probably didn't take us out the way they wanted.
I like to put together use the word scientism by putting together scientific materialism or materialistic science, right? Now, and so I call it scientism, which basically, I might as well cuss before and after I say that word. Now I'm going to have to cuss before and after my new word, techism. Anybody who promotes tech is a fool. It is headed straight to hell. What don't they get about this? What happened to all the research done showing that the longer you are on any digital device, the more you're depressed and the more you're suicidal? What happened to the fact that it's creating your blindness if you use a blue screen in a dark room? What happened to hypersensitivity, electrohypersensitivity? They've swept all that under the rug for techism. So now I used to say scientism is the new religion. Nah, but then you hear me harp about tech. Well, no, I'm going to now say techism is the new religion, and Melania and Donald Trump are the priest and priestess. This is the end of humanity if it continues.